What's up, adventurers? My name is Platinum Phoenix, and welcome back to Kirby's Max Attack. Last time, we completed stages 4, 5, and 6 in Green Grounds, and this time we are doing stages 7, 8, and 9. So let's go ahead and get started. And we need 5 Kirbys to get started with stage 7. Good thing we have 10 of them to get started. And we're just going to take out this Bean Bon at the very beginning. And this is actually our first example of a fully auto-scroller stage. Basically, pretty much like 90% of this stage takes place on this, like, I'm going to call it an elevator. I'm not sure if that's actually what it's called, but it's basically an elevator. And we want to avoid as much as possible because if you are under these blocks, like that Bean Bon, you will basically be crushed and die immediately. And we have new enemies on this stage called Soarers. Specifically, these orange ones are called Soarers, while these black ones are called Monosaurers. They're just slightly different variants. The black ones stop halfway across the screen and actually attack. And we want to grab this treasure chest because this is the location of our first Kirby medal of the stage. And actually our second Kirby medal is right here at the far right block. And we're just gonna take out this Bean Bon and this Bean Bon because I don't want them to be in our way. And basically, wow, that was incredibly close. Let's move this way. That's a lot of Monosaurus. So the Monosaurus will actually stop wherever the Kirbys are placed. So if you have them like right next to a wall and the Monosaur comes into frame, then it will stop where the Kirbys are instead of going halfway across the screen. And that is our third Kirby medal. And I actually need to bring up why we are collecting the Kirby medals, minus the part that I just want to collect everything for this Let's Play. But I haven't brought up the fact that you actually need all of the rainbow medals. As you can see, the third medal is a rainbow medal, and you need all of the rainbow medals in order for you to actually complete the game. So it's a good thing to show where all of those are, just so it's more clear why I'm collecting them. But now we want to break this tree open and head to the right over here and actually destroy this egg. And inside this egg is our third variant of a Soarer. These are called small Soarers, and they are basically the babies of the regular Soarers. And we break open the egg and defeat them, and that gets us our last Kirby medal of the stage. And then we have to come out here, and basically what we are doing now is we're playing a matching game where we have to throw the Kirbys at the Soarers that are holding the image that is shown at the top screen. So that's the first one we need. And we're basically building the finished door, the golden finished door that we see at the end of all these stages. And if you actually hit the ones carrying the Monosaur panels, you have to fight a bunch of Monosaurs or avoid a bunch of Monosaurs. Or they'll just kill your Kirbys. But this one's the hardest one. You just have to throw in between those two. And once you have all 4 of these, you create the exit door. And it just hovers there. I guess I was expecting it to fall. And we didn't lose any Kirbys, so we get Silver Star. And that is stage 7 cleared. So the next stage, I believe, nope, is this one. Stage 8. Let's go ahead and get started with this one. And you need 7 Kirbys to go into stage 8. And I believe there are more new enemies starting in this stage. Well, semi-new enemies. There's one old enemy I forgot to talk about, and these trees are more obstacles than enemies. The trees themselves are not actually that bad, but the spiders here, are more specifically the spideroos here, which is their official name, are the ones that will actually take out your Kirbys if you are not careful. But just like in the last stage we had to fight them, they're not actually too difficult. But these trees will actually continue to blow our Kirbys back if you're not careful. The trees actually cannot kill the Kirbys, but they will be an annoyance and blow the Kirbys back. Basically every like 15-20 seconds or so. And I guess I should go over the name of these trees. They are called the, I believe these are Wiki Woods. And yeah, their whole point is just to be an obstacle and to blow back your Kirbys. But now we are just shooting ourselves through these cannons, and you have to aim the cannons. They will spin by themselves, and you just have to click where you want to fire. And for this one, we want to fire to the bottom right. And then I'm going to attempt to line these up. One more pass. That's good enough. We don't need an apple. Who needs apples anyway? And doing that gets us our first coin and the rainbow medal for this chapter. And these are also new enemies. These are called... Thank you. These, I believe, are called Stumpies. And if it would stop... Actually, no, I'm wrong. These are called, No, that's correct. These are called Stumpies. Basically, they have two modes. They can either shoot out wind, like that first one, or they can shoot out, or they can make their nose pointy. And if the nose is pointy and you throw Kirbys at it, it will hurt the Kirbys. So you want to make sure to only throw Kirbys when the Stumpies are not, do not have pointed noses. And now we just need to throw our Kirbys into this tree and basically shake this tree down. Because we need to throw this tree in the water to make a boat. Also, this is a good time to talk about it because I haven't yet. I made a joke about it last episode about how making one Kirby into 10 Kirbys would be a really bad idea because Kirby is known for basically one thing, and that is being able to take the powers of any opponent that they eat. That is not the case in this game, and I made the joke not really thinking about it, but in this game they actually thought about it, and the Kirbys are not actually able to steal the abilities of any enemies they defeat. You are just stuck having regular Kirbys, but you have 10 of them, which is the main draw of this game. Hence the name Mass Attack. We are just going to throw you up here to kind of irritate this enemy so that it can't actually shoot us. And I'm going to do the same thing here. Basically, I'm not aiming to knock out the enemies. I'm aiming to more... Come on, get the medal. That Kirby may be dead, but its sacrifice will not be in vain. And this is technically another new enemy. This is called a Wobbly Wood. And it's more of an obstacle than anything. All you have to do is throw Kirbys at it to knock it down and make a bridge. And if we continue onwards, we get to another dark section. And these are another new enemy. These are called the Tower Woods. And all you have to do is throw the Kirbys at them when they're not facing forward so that they don't stab the Kirbys with their nose. And doing that, you can just go ahead and move on. And you know what? I actually told you wrong. Those trees are not called Stumpy. I remember now that this thing, is actually called Stumpy, but this one's actually very easy to get around. You just have to fly over it, and you could keep running. I don't know why they give names to what is basically just obstacles in these games, but I guess everything needs a name. And we just need to take out these tower woods. These ones with the mushroom don't actually hurt you if you throw at them at the wrong time, but they will bounce you back. So you need to make sure not to throw them, or you will be stunned, or the Kirbys will be stunned that hit the mushroom. They're kind of like the green mushrooms we had in stage, I believe, 6. Also, for Stumpy here, you do not want to be crushed by it because it is an instant kill for the Kirbys. And I believe we want to take the top road here, so we are going to attempt to knock out these two. And as you can see, if you have Kirbys hitting these, I'm just gonna call them the Wiki Woods is what I believe. And the big ones I believe were Wobbly Woods because they blew you and made you wobble. No, that's not correct either. I think they're all just Wiki Woods. We're just going to go with Wiki Woods. And I'll put on screen which ones are actually which. But if you take out these two up here, we can get the skeleton key. And of course, like all of the other skeleton keys are the one other skeleton key I think we've done so far. This will result in us getting our next medal for this stage. And I actually haven't gone over these enemies either. These are called Scully. These are the main units for the Skull Gang. And basically they're only really seen in very few chapters, and most of the time they're only seen during these skeleton key sections. But we'll get the treasure chest and be able to open it. Please open it. Before I make more of a fool of myself, Kirby, come on! And we just have to wait for the portal, and that will send us back. That should be medal number 3. And now, this next medal coming up is one of the more confusing medals of this first world, is what I'll call it. I think it's called a level, but I'm going to call it a world. This tree right here is kind of weird, because it's the only thing here, and you see this this jerk vine going down to the metal block. So obviously you need to grab the jerk vine to break through the metal blocks, but what about this tree? So if we wait for it to blow, we can actually go above it, and instead of attacking it itself, we can destroy what is essentially its hair. And under its hair, under its hair is the door that we need to go in, which is extremely weird. And one of the better hidden secrets of this first level, or this first world. And I say that because if you actually destroy the tree itself, it doesn't send you here. It will just destroy the tree and that's it. But we need to go in this cannon and go through the bottom, and that'll send us back down to where the jerk vine is. And I'm actually going to destroy the tree now so it doesn't get in our way for dealing with the jerk vine. And now, as you can see, once you destroy the tree, the leaves are gone. So you can't actually get through that door if you destroy the tree itself. And we have another Stumpy, and this one we need to actually follow back. So we're going to go through the middle like that. That's how you're actually supposed to go through them, by the way. And then we just need to follow it back, because once we get back here, you may have saw the metal blocks back here when I walked back here earlier. But behind the metal blocks that Stumpy destroys, we have a door that we can go through, and we're just gonna head through. And in this door, we have another Spider-Roo holding a medal, just like the last time they did this. We just have to destroy the Spider-Roo, and we get the medal. And then we're gonna destroy this tree out of revenge for trying to blow us off of the Spider-Roo. But that's all the medals for this stage, and I believe that Stumpy is going to be back, unfortunately, so we have to avoid that again. Yep, there it is. don't get crushed. Please don't get crushed. That would be very unfortunate. The other thing, actually, that Kirby is known for, other than the whole being able to eat his enemies and get their powers, which he can't do in this game, Kirby can't do his multiple jumps. He can technically fly, using the whole hold the stylus method, but yeah, he doesn't actually get the, like, 4, 5, 6 jumps that he gets in every other game that he's in. But if we follow Stumpy, he'll fall in a hole, and we can go in this cannon. And I believe this cannon will lead us to the end of this stage. Let's see. Yep, it's getting dark, and here's the end. And we only get a success because we sacrificed a Kirby to get the second medal. And here is our rainbow bridge part to get into the interior of this one. I believe this actually leads to the boss stage of this world. And we'll just watch our Kirbys run over the rainbow. Yep, and there's the boss, but we are not dealing with him this episode. We are actually heading to stage, if it'll let me. Come on. We are heading to stage 9. And let's go ahead and get started. In stage 9, you may have saw, well, you need 5 Kirbys to get in here to begin with, but you may saw there's only 3 medals in this one, so it's a semi-shorter chapter, or semi-shorter stage. I swear I will make that mistake every episode. And that enemy, I forget if I actually talked about the name of it before, that is called a War Wiggle. And we actually have to do this stage twice, mostly because of this item right here. But I want to try to show something very funny. Let me just make sure I know what I'm doing. Okay, so first we need to grab this and we need to run. We're just full dash forward and we need to use the big Kirbys to get this first medal right there. But if we keep running, we can actually grab this to continue being large. And we are just going to continue running. And we just need to run as fast as we can in order to be able to show something, which is very funny if you are able to do it. At this point, we were able to get the second medal, but we want to go through here as quickly as possible and try to get into this room. Because if we can get in here, this is the boss, and that's a big War Wiggle, but if you're the big Kirbys, you beat it instantly, which is very funny, in my opinion, that you can just run in here and destroy the boss. And that is technically the easiest boss in the game if you can get here with the big Kirbys. But we're just gonna go through the door and end that stage with gold star. That is by far one of my favorite boss battles to do if you are the big Kirbys, and by far one of my least favorite boss battles to do if you are not. But we are just gonna head back into this stage. I'm just gonna skip this beginning part because now we actually have to run through this stage as not big Kirbys. And if we can just continue through this way. Hello, War Wiggle. Just eat all your fruit and not have to bother with you. We are just going to continue without this, without the, I'm just call it the big candy, because that's basically what it is. But what we need to do is, instead of all of the craziness with the big Kirbys, we need to go up here, and actually above this big bean bond, there's a key. And with the key, we need to very carefully navigate up through here and try not to get hit. We'll take out this one because that'll break these and not have to make me throw the Kirbys to get through it. And beat this big not big War Wiggle, but just a War Wiggle. And the most dangerous part of this whole section is that one, you can't really get hit while you are holding the key because you risk dropping the key and having to redo all of this, which is a very big deal. But also there's plenty of enemies here that are very difficult to deal with while not being hit. Also, I want to just bring up that those monkeys are called Orus, which is very funny to me that you have what is basically a monkey enemy just being called the sound that a monkey makes. These war wiggles, there's a bunch of them here. And if you are not careful, they will hurt you. And you have to get right past them and open this chest in order to get this last medal. Also, of course, we get hit. I was debating if I wanted to actually show this boss fight or not, because it's a pretty long boss fight if you don't have the big Kirbys. But I think because I didn't really show any of the boss fight, I do want to actually show some of it. So this is the big war wiggle, and what you need to do is basically like the regular war wiggles. You need to, one, avoid where it pops up, like this. You'll always see where it pops up by the rumblings in the ground. And throw specifically at the door part of it. So the red part of it, you need to throw at, because if you hit any other part of it, it actually doesn't do any damage. And that accuracy is actually why it's one of my least favorite fights in the game. Because you have to be so precise that if you're just throwing, it can kind of be irritating. And here is his third phase where he'll go through several sections at a time and take up basically half the screen. And you just need to avoid again and throw the Kirbys. And the reason this is one of my least favorite boss fights is because of how time consuming it is. You can pretty well kite it to where you want it to be, but it just takes so many throws to actually take it out. And sometimes it doesn't actually go all the way up, like the several times where it would go halfway up and then go straight back down, to where it's just wasting your time and you are just trying to avoid it the whole time, and it gets kind of irritating. But that's the actual big war wiggle fight, and that is our third stage of the day with all the medals gotten. So I think we're gonna end the episode here. So I hope that everyone enjoyed watching. If you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Next time, we are doing chapters 10 and the boss fight of Green Grounds. But until then, happy adventuring!